Hello and welcome to this episode of Peak Life. Today we're talking about a very special plan in the planning department, the Greenbrier Area Plan. And here to help us learn more about what this is Nathaniel McCormick with the planning department. Tell me your title again. Creative Design Manager. No.
Community
Design Manager. I knew
right.
I was going to mess that one up. Community Design Manager, which makes perfect sense for what we're going to talk about today.
Right.
Give me a general overview of what the Greenbrier Area Plan is.
Sure. I think everybody knows the Greenbrier area. It's a destination and a really an economic powerhouse, not just in the city of Chesapeake, but for the region overall. So our fundamental purpose is to figure out how to keep it vibrant and strong. And we do that by first understanding what the conditions are today. What are some of its strengths? What are some of the areas where it needs help? And the plan part of it is we begin to develop strategies to strengthen the things that are working and address the things that aren't working as well.
Okay. Now, you know, you're talking about the actual area of Greenbrier. I'm thinking the shopping part.
Right.
You know, that's where I most often frequent. But the plan actually does include residential. Like there's a larger area there. Within the plan?
Great question and important to understand. I think, like you, most people would think of the central business district and shopping area, which is already a huge area. It's about 3 times the size as Central Park in New York.
Wow,
to give a basis of comparison.
That's incredible.
But we think it's also important to broaden that and get the communities to either side involved, where there are lots of residential citizens. So overall, then, the area is about 3 times as large as I described. Right.
That's amazing. This is going to be a big plan then. I mean, you know, from what I'm understanding, the process for these types of plans is sort of the same. You know, like you said, you get the what do we have now, and then you're kind of like, where do we want to go, and then you figure out all the, you know, the sausage is made in the middle of that, right?
Right.
Tell me about how the community can play a role in this whole process, because that really is a very critical piece of all of this, right?
It's absolutely critical. It's fundamental, and I think it's something that the city of Chesapeake does really well. Community input, hearing people's voices to help decide our direction and form our plan is really important for this. So we have lots of ways that people can get involved. As a starting point, if people aren't familiar with the project, on the City of Chesapeake's website, under planning, we do have a project website where they can get basic information. On that website, there's a link to a survey, which has been a big tool, a tool that we use often in planning, but is particularly important here, and clearly of interest, because we have had almost 1,000 responses to date.
That's awesome.
Which is, my colleagues are really jealous.
Yeah, I bet.
It's not something we often get. So, high level of interest and engagement.
Do you continue to accept comments? I mean, you probably have to cut it off at some point, right? Or how does that work?
You know, we want to be able to take comments really through the whole process. It's a long process. We're looking at about a 16-month period overall, and we really just started midwinter, so we'll be going through the spring of next year. So there's lots of opportunities. We will continue to have public meetings and conversations, but we want people to know that they can also touch base with us at any time, and my name and contact information is on the website.
Yes.
We're probably going to put out a second survey. The first one was some general information. What do people think is best about the area, and what are some of the challenges they see, and we'll dig more deeply into the issues and have follow-up surveys as well.
And you really want anybody who has any participation in Greenbrier to participate, right? I don't live in Greenbrier, but I shop there, and you know, I drive through there, and so you don't have to be, your house doesn't have to be located in Greenbrier in order to participate.
Absolutely not, and great question. And that was one of the first things we had on the the current survey, which by the way is still available and open through the end of this month.
Okay.
And then we'll think about the next one. But we ask people, what's your relationship to the Greenbrier area? Do you live here? Do you work here? Do you play here? Do you probably not farm here, but go to school? So lots of different people who have different perspectives.
Okay. We hear a lot at the city, you're developing without a plan. You're just developing all over the place. But what is hard for us to really point to are these long planning processes that truly are what sets the stage for that future development. How do we work in the education of, the city council meeting approving XYZ, that comes way down the road. You got to start your involvement here.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, because this is where we make those plans for what comes down the road.
It's a big, as you said earlier, it's a big process, it's a long process, and it's really a continuing process. This obviously isn't the first time that people have talked about Greenbrier.
Right.
But at this moment in time, it seemed appropriate for the city to re-engage and really do a comprehensive rethink of the area in face of changes that happened through COVID or economic issues that we're dealing with. So this plan should set the stage, and as you said, the process takes it through various commissions and to council, who will choose to adopt it, we hope, and guide development for some period in the future.
And, we're talking about Greenbrier specifically, but what we're really hoping people will be paying attention to is the additional things that's going to be coming out of the planning department. We're not just going to be talking about Greenbrier. That's this specific study, but you guys have a lot cooking over there, so people really need to keep their eyes on what the planning department is up to these days.
We do have a lot.
Yeah.
This is a big study, but it's one of several that are going on right now, and I think you had a segment earlier on the industrial waterfront plan, which is another one of our efforts, and a little more focused. Some are broader, like Greenbrier, and some are more particular to an area or a certain issue. So if people want to go to the planning section on the city's website, they will see all kinds of these plans, and all of them include a component of public participation, and we always want to hear from the community.
Yeah, that's a really important piece of this, because I've heard folks in your department also say it's not the planning department's plan. It's really not even city council's plan. It's our plan, right? It's for everybody who lives, works, plays in Chesapeake.
It is our plan, and I was trying to think of the right analogy. Maybe it's not the conductor of the orchestra, but planning is the department that draws on the expertise, not only of the public, but all of the other city departments who know better than we do about transportation and zoning and economic development. And we're the group that compiles all of that input and puts it in the form of a plan for council to consider.
That's a great way to put it. So end goal for this is for the planning department to come up with a plan that will be put in front of council sometime next year, and then we just see where it goes from there.
We hope next spring to have a excellent document, and all indications are good so far, to present to Planning Commission and Council for adoption in the spring.
Nathaniel, did we forget anything? Is there anything else about this plan that you wanted to mention?
I think just to emphasize that we're always open to input. Again, people, if they choose not to engage through the survey or through public meetings, they have my email address. We have a really strong consultant team helping us with this. It's not just the planning department.
Yes.
So we are here to listen and eager to move forward.
And you guys have fun meetings too. I feel like your meetings are not your average public hearing. You guys do fun stuff there. So
all of our meetings are fun.
I'm hoping that people will come and give their opinions and their thoughts, because that really is what this is all about. This is really cool stuff. We're going to send people to cityofchesapeake.net/Greenbrier, where they can get all the information. And no matter when they watch this, they can see what you guys are up to at the moment.
That's right.
Nathaniel McCormick, thank you so much for chatting with us about this.
Thank you, Liz. I'm happy to be here.
That does it for this episode of Peak Life. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.